Ladies and gentlemen, this starts second day for Pentathlon Senior World Championships Warsaw 2014. Today we have 17 civil lives. Number 1, Pentathlon Warsaw, Warsaw. 3, USA, 4,
Puchkarevsky.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's the second day of the Modern Pentathlon Senior World Championships Czonków 2014. In front of us, another competition, Łukasz Lukaszewski.
Rob Stahl.
It's nice to see you again in capital of Poland, but first of all, we would like to show you how it was yesterday. Let's have a look for the highlights after yesterday's competition.
We are very happy because this is my first competition in relay.
We've trained really hard and we are strong swimmers. We're good over 100. Alex has got great turns, so I was expecting a good swim.
Yeah, I was, but maybe not that fast.
没有这个想法，我们就想着比好每一项，尽自己全力去比。
尽力就好，只要经过自己努力，就问心无愧。
Here we go, the second one, team relay of Belarus, and the third one, team relay of Italy. Today, boys have already started. As yesterday, we are focusing on Piste A. As we can see, Polish team is competing over there. That's right, what means that Polish team have lost with
Russia.
That's it. So it's just the first round.
It's going to be an exciting day. I mean, it's great to be back. Day two, the first round jitters were, I think, out of everybody's system. There were a lot of guys here yesterday in the crowd watching the competition, and believe it or not, that actually helps them compete. You know, it's a new venue, it's a new environment. They've been preparing for this all year, so I think you're going to have a lot. The performances from the guys are going to not be so driven by nerves. You know, so what we just saw there was Russia versus Poland. It ended up being a 1-1 tie, basically. And again, this is all about acquiring points. Every one of those victories is worth 6 seconds, you know. So, and that's what they're thinking. It's like when they lose, it's like, ah, darn, I lost 6 seconds to this guy, and I've got to make it up someplace. So the good teams, and both of these teams are great teams. I mean, Russia's a perennial favorite. You know, Puchkarevsky and Kustov. We just saw Kustov there. They're both extraordinary athletes. I mean, going into the London Games, Russia had 4 individual world champions to choose from for a two-man team. I mean, can you imagine 4 individual world champions? So their depth is unbelievable, and so I'm expecting Russia to do quite well. But they went 1-1. So for Poland to go to get a victory against Russia, that's a great step forward in the first round of the day.
So even 1-1 for Poland is a good result. On the second round, it's Poland against Mexico. Szymon Staszkiewicz on our screens. He's 27 years old. He's 186 centimeters tall. He was 4th in this year in World Cup in Chengdu, China, in 4th edition, but it was in mixed relays. And now he's preparing to the first bout against one of the Mexicans.
It's going to be Rivera. His opponent, Saul Rivera from Mexico. Now, Staszkiewicz is frankly outclasses Rivera. He's a better fencer. He's a better athlete. We'll see. This is his second bout of the day. Rivera knows that he's up against somebody who's formidable. Staszkiewicz is competing at home. That's an advantage. So watch and look, and Staszkiewicz goes right after him. He's pushing the Mexican. he's past the midline right off the bat.
Staszkiewicz knows what he has to do, but the thing is that he had some injury this year, so this competition is like a comeback for him.
Absolutely, and you know, and it's again. Oh, there you go. So it was a great toe shot.
Light is on. So
you know,
1-0 from Poland.
Exactly. It was an extension to the hand. There was no reaction from the Mexican. Then he went to the foot, and that was an easy target. It was a great shot. Great start to the day. The next bout, you've got goalless from Poland against Padilla from Mexico. Again, the Poles are looking for the red light. They're winning 1-0. It's going to be Padilla from Mexico is a particularly he's a great combined athlete. He's got a lot of stamina. He's got a lot of speed. So now they've got a 1 point deficit. So he needs to tie it up. So I think you're going to see a lot more activity from the Mexican on this.
So Remigiusz Golis on the left side, on the right Manuel Padilla from Mexico. He's looking for the green light. Polish athlete for the red one, of course.
And again, this is pentathlon fencing, so they have 1 minute. You see the clock in the background. They have 1 minute in which to score one touch, and the target is any part of the body, which is standard épée fencing. So the foot is as good as the chest, as well as the mask or the hand. You'll see a lot of hand touches. For those of the audience who were watching yesterday's competition, the men are simply just a lot faster.
This is the most important difference between
men and women.
Men competition.
Speed and strength, absolutely. And I can't see where that.
See the lights.
He looks like it was a Mexican victory. Let's see if the judge is going to award it. And he is. He's awarded it. There was some question from Golis. He was challenging the referee's decision. The referee is from the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Awarded it in favor of the Mexican. Rivera scored that. You saw his blade go behind his head. So what happened was there was no touch on the initial action, and then he saw the opportunity and a little bit of fancy swordmanship, and he got the hit. So you got a 1-1 tie.
So it's another 1-1 result for team relay of Poland. Szymon Staszkiewicz and Remigiusz Golis. The next round on piece A will be Mexico and Korea.
And look how fast this goes. This morning we have 17 rounds. We're already in round 3. We've only been here a few minutes. So the relay, the men's relay, as well as the women, the fencing portion goes very, very fast. Every team fences every other team. So by us focusing on strip A, it allows our viewers to see actually every team in the competition, because every team will come to strip A at some point. It's simply a round-robin rotation.
There are some results for us. So we can see.
It's way too early to start looking at these.
Definitely.
It's one of those things. My rule of thumb in terms of results is I didn't even take a look at the results until the midway point. At the half, I took a look at the results. And most of the athletes, to have a good result here as a team. And remember, this is a team, so you got two of the athletes on the team, and you need one of the athletes to really be your big gun. And to score, you're looking for 70% victories. So every 10 matches to have 7 wins. That's the target you're looking for. And then the other athlete, the weaker fencer, because one of the two, even if they're both very good, one was going to be better than the other. What you need from your number 2 athlete, you need at least 50%. He's got to win at least half of the matches.
So 70 for the first one?
70 for the first, 50 for the second, and you're going to finish in the top 4 teams. And that keeps you in the hunt for the medals. Because again, at the end of the day, this all equates to seconds in the combined, in the laser shooting combined. Remember, these athletes have a long day ahead of them. They're going to go from here, the fence, they will swim, then they'll ride a horse they've never seen before over a difficult course. Course is designed by one of the great course designers in the world. And then from there they go to the shooting and running. And it's, by the end of the day, these guys are tired.
Definitely, yes. On the left side, one of the Mexicans, Rivera, and on the right one, Woojin Hwang from Korea.
Rivera again from Mexico. And again, remember the Mexicans train in Mexico City. That's their primary training center. Mexico City is about 3,000 meters, maybe just a little less than 3,000 meters. So they train at altitude. They come here, they've got very high VO2 maxes. They've got, they have so much endurance relative to the rest of the athletes. They're one of the teams, actually the United States also trains at altitude in Colorado Springs in the Rocky Mountains, but Mexico is they are perennial favorites in the combined. So they can let the clock go all the way down. They can use the full minute. They can be very active, and it's not going to phase them, physically. And again, this is a strategic. There's as much strategy to this as there is endurance. You need strength, speed, stamina, and frankly, smarts. You need to be intelligent. Great fencers are intelligent. So you have Yang from Korea. Is that right? Hwang from Korea.
Well, this is why you have been so good fencer.
I was very fortunate. I was left-handed, and I was able to win the World Championships a number of times in this event. And I got lucky. Don't discount luck. This is one touch. So you need to be good and lucky.
Is it big advantage to be left-handed?
People often ask that question. It definitely at the intermediate level, it does help because you don't see so many left-handers. But once you get to the top level, it doesn't really matter. You don't even think, is the guy left-handed or right-handed at the top level. And most of these guys are at that level. So you have Hwang from Korea on the right, Rivera from Mexico on the left. Rivera's looking for that red light. Korea's looking for the green. See how active the Korean is? Very active, pushing Rivera. He's on the end of a French grip. French grip is a straight handle, and by being on the end of that, you get an extra 2 or 3 inches. He's already a tall guy. Hwang's already 3-4 inches taller than Rivera. Throws that blade out, and he missed. Oh, you got it. He got it. Green light. I didn't think he had that. He went low, and I didn't think he had the hit, and then he came up, and he was a little slow on the rise, but he obviously hit him in the foot on the way down. So 1-0 for Korea in their first match. Now it's going to be up for Padilla to come back and try to tie it up, which he was able to do in the first round. And notice how fencing it's a little bit like tennis, where tennis years ago was just white uniforms. And yesterday we discussed kind of the history of the white uniform in fencing, where it came from, the old duel and all of that, and being able to see first blood. But look at the color. Color is coming into the sport now. You'll see Padilla's mask, it's green. It's one of the colors of the Mexican flag. And you get more and more interesting designs, and I think over time I think just the uniforms, frankly, are going to be a lot cooler, a lot more interesting to look at. So Padilla on the left.
On the right, Woojin Lee from Korea.
Padilla is he's almost like in a track start position. Quiet, it's not bouncing. Oh, a double touch.
Yeah.
Now remember, in pentathlon fencing, a double touch, which simply means both fencers are hit at the same moment, simply doesn't count. In regular Olympic-style fencing, it does, but not in pentathlon. We're looking for a single light.
It won't be easy fight.
No, Korea
especially for Mexican, because Koreans are really fast.
Yeah, they are. Very fast hands.
I think 25 seconds left.
Yep. Again, they have 1 minute. And if there's no touch within the minute, both fencers have a defeat. It's used as part of a strategy, but I think really what Padilla is doing, he's doing one of two things. He's looking for a stop hit. He wants the Korean to attack, and he's just going to straight stop hit, or he's going to attack. Now they're inside 5 seconds. Korea's pushing, and there he goes. Korea got it.
Green is on.
Yep. 3 seconds remaining on the clock. You saw how the Korean moved very quickly once they got inside 5. It's very dangerous when there's less than 5 seconds remaining, because there are multiple opportunities for mistakes. You basically have to work in a hurry. So you oftentimes make mistakes when there's so little time left. If you're the weaker fencer, you want to have the time go down to the last couple of seconds, because it gives you a better chance, because there's more chance of a mistake from your opponent, who frankly is a better fencer than you, and you know that. So you'll see people. I've been able to beat Olympic champions who were fencers, Olympic champion fencers, simply by letting the time go down to less than 5 seconds, because that gives me, it's like flipping a coin.
So fencing is not just about physicality.
No, there's a strategy behind it. They call it physical chess. So, and you find a lot of these athletes, they go on to very, strong professional careers. You get a lot of doctors, attorneys, very accomplished professionals that come from this sport, frankly, because it requires such a strong mental side, mental acumen. There aren't very many dummies in pentathlon.
We're going to start another round soon. Round number 4, Korea against Kazakhstan on the A piste. Team of Kazakhstan, Vladislav Shukarev and Andrei Soldatov. Vladislav Shukarev, he's just 20 years old and he was first in Open Central Asian Cup in this year, which have been played in Kyrgyzstan. So he has got some successes behind him in this year.
Kazakhstan's an interesting, former Soviet satellite country, region. They were, and the entire former Soviet Union all trained in the same sports schools. So they all have the same style, whether it's Kyrgyzstan or Kazakhstan or Ukraine or Russia. They all have very, very similar styles because the coaches intermingled. And they had, in the coaching schools, there were principal coaching schools around the former Soviet Union. And that's who the coaches are today. They were coaches who were either athletes or coaches developed under the Soviet system. So, and it's interesting, if you take a look around the rest of the world, when the Soviet Union broke up, a lot of those coaches went to the West. So you see a lot of coaches in the United States, in Germany, in the West that are frankly products of the old Soviet Union. So it is an interesting, the globalization of Olympic sport. And it's not just the case in pentathlon or fencing, it's that way across the board in all of the 28 Olympic sports.
But that means that Soviet school is really good.
Very, very good. Very, very good. And remember that the former East Germany and the former Soviet Union, they worked very closely together in their sport schools and sports systems. So here we go. We got Korea on the left, looking for that red light. Kazakhstan on the right.
Wu Jinhuang and Vladislav Shukarev.
Korea's pressing the action. He's at the midline. Korean definitely has a faster hand, but the Kazakish is he's keeping his point in line. Notice his blade isn't moving very much. The Korean moves his blade more, but he does so because he's got a faster hand. And he got it. He got it.
Green is on.
And green is on. And he got it simply by keeping his point in line. He didn't have a lot of movement, and I think the Korean had frankly just a little too much. Got too close and too much movement. So it's up to Lee now of Korea, his teammate, to try to tie it up and get that to make sure they walk away 1-1. Remember, most of the teams, in order to have a good team score, you're looking for as many 2-0 victories as you can get. But the worst situation, you don't want to have anything worse than 1-1. 1-1 is acceptable as long as you have. It's a little bit like golf, right? You need to have some some birdies and an eagle if you can. But what you never want to do is go worse than par. That's the way golf is, and that's the way pentathlon fencing is. You don't want to go any worse than 1-1. So we'll see if Lee can tie it up.
Lee on the left, on the right side, Andrei Soldatov.
I tell you, appearances can fool you, but the way the positioning of Soldatov from Kazakhstan, he's leaning forward, he's right behind his guard. You see his whole body's behind his point, which is all very, very good for pentathlon fencing. Lee is a shorter fencer. He doesn't have the height that Soldatov has, and he's actually standing up a little more upright, which he loses more height by standing up straight, as opposed to leaning forward. So, if I had to pick a winner on this before it goes, I'm gonna go with Kazakhstan, but anything can happen in one-touch fencing. And there you go, double touch. And that's exactly what you would expect from Lee being in that position. His blade's not moving much. He's in that upright position. He's basically telling his opponent, hey, I'm coming. It's gonna be a straight attack, and that's what he just did. And you can expect the same thing again from him.
Just 10 seconds left.
And he does it again.
Red is on.
And did he make it?
Yeah.
He got it.
So
he got it. Lee got it.
Great job for Lee.
And so he tied it up. So you got a 1-1 situation. But shame on Soldatov. He should have known after the first action where he got the double touch, the body position was exactly the same. It should have been a little memo to him like, hey, he's coming, and he has to come because they're losing. He needs to tie it up. So he can't afford to let the time go to 0. If the time goes to 0, it's as good as a victory for Kazakhstan. So 1-1, off we go.
So Lee was like more motivated for win this bout.
He had to win it. He absolutely had to do it.
And now Kazakhstan against Italy. Team relay of Italy consists of Alessandro Colasanti and Andrea Pucciarello. The first one of them, Alessandro Colasanti, is junior world champion 2014. These championships have been held in Jonków in Poland also.
So he feels right at home.
Soldatov is preparing himself.
So you've got Soldatov from Kazakhstan on the left. And he won the first match, you know, against Korea. So he's on a winning streak. So he's got a lot of confidence. Obviously his opponent from Italy on the right, looking for that green light.
It's probably Andrea Pucciarello.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you've got Pucciarello from Italy on the right, Soldatov from Kazakhstan on the left. Now that's a classic. Look at the Italian. And by the way, the coaches for the Italian team are the same coaches that were coaching when Ike was competing, which is quite a while ago. So they have the same playbook. He's got his hand low. He's on a French grip. Very much the Italian school. That is textbook Italian.
And Pucciarello is left-handed.
Yep. That was a double touch.
40 seconds left.
Beautiful flash. Beautiful straight flash from Soldatov. He's on a roll. I mean, he's smaller than the Italian, but his timing was impeccable. And the Italian made no effort to parry. He simply tried to stop hit to outreach him. And Soldatov, he was just faster. That was just speed. So now you've got the junior world champion up from Italy. He needs to win this match. Shukarev from Kazakhstan, who lost the last bout against Korea. So he needs to redeem himself in order to be a productive team member. He needs this victory. But yet, on the other hand, the Italian has to win. He has to win or he ends up with a goose egg. It'll be a 2-0 loss, and that's unacceptable. So there's a lot of pressure on Alessandro Colasanti, the former junior world champion from Italy, who's on the right.
And Shukarev needs to get back on the right way.
Yeah, he needs to get back in the game. I mean, he's he lost to Korea, and if you're in his shoes, it's like, hey, I want to be a contributing member of this team. You know, throw me the ball.
So Shukarev on the left. He's looking for the red light. And on the right side, Alessandro Colasanti.
And it looks like they had a little blade problem. So as you can see, the judge there, he has a it's called a weight and shim. And what he's really doing is he's making sure that the epee, the blade, the sword, conforms to standards. So the tip has to actually push that weight up. That's what he's checking. It's 750 grams. And then the travel, which is the distance on the tip. It's just, you know how it's an electrical system, right, that puts the light on. And the judge makes sure that it's all within standards. And his first blade wasn't, so he had to replace it, which is a warning. That's a yellow card, just like soccer. So Kazakhstan on the left, Italy on the right, 1 minute. Kazakhstan's winning 1-0. Italy must have this victory. Look how focused the Italian fencer is. Right behind his point, arm extended. You see his thumb on his left hand, how it's sticking up like that? There's a lot of tension in that left hand. If I was his coach, I'd say relax. You're telegraphing the tension there. Both fencers are keeping their points in line. There's not a lot of blade movement, and we're inside 15 seconds. We're coming to 10. Italy has to go. Italy has to go. They have to attack. 5 seconds to go. And he goes. And Kazakhstan gets the victory. That's right. Because it was very well fenced by Sukharov from Kazakhstan. It was a very good strategy. He knew the Italian had to come. He could not afford a double defeat, letting time expire. So he simply waited. He waited and he waited, and when the attack came, he stop hit, which he simply extended his arm. He's a taller fencer. He had the reach. He got the touch. Just textbook good coaching.
So team relay of Kazakhstan has done really good job in this round.
2-0. 2-0 against anybody is a big win. So the next teams on the on Strip A, you're going to have
It's going to be team relay of Hungary, yeah.
Yeah, and the Hungarians, Hungary versus Italy. Who do we have for Hungary?
Gergely Demeter and Benz Horangozo.
You know, Gergely Demeter, one of the two Hungarians. I competed against his father. I hate to admit that, it really ages me. I look down the list and I see a number of guys competing here, and I either knew their dad or. So Demeter comes from a long line of very successful Hungarian pentathletes. Before the Berlin Wall came down, they had specific clubs in Hungary, Doja, Honved. His father competed for Doja, which was funded by the trucking industry. So here you go, Italy on the left, Hungary on the right, 0-0. And very nice touch, Hungary.
Just 12 seconds took
yeah.
Hungarian to win this.
Benz Horangozo from Hungary. That, by the way, was classic Hungarian fencing. They use a lot of blade work. They take the blade. Remember yesterday how we discussed the German school?
Yeah.
Hungary is very much a product of the German school. They take blades. You know, you'll see a lot of blade contact with them, and that's what they did on that last bout. The Italian and the French, it's a very different school. They tend to go without the blade. But if you can, if a Hungarian gets a hold of your blade, it's like sticking it into a lawnmower. I mean, they really torque it. They really put the pressure on it, and they move the point out of line. They create the opening, and they score the hit. That was why it only took 12 seconds.
Hungarian modern pentathlonist has got really a lot of successes. Most titled athlete in the history of World Championships is Andras Bolcha from Hungary. He won championships in 1963, 65, 66, 67, then 69 and 1972. And now he's 1-0 from Hungary.
Yeah, exactly. 1-0 for Hungary. Hungary has you're right, they have a long history of extraordinary pentathlon support. In 1999, the World Championships were in Hungary. There were 1 million spectators over 4 days. That's 250,000 people per day showed up to watch pentathlon. You talk about an exciting environment. And look, watch the Hungarian. Look at the blade work. And take simple parry repost. There was blade work that set that up. This is Demeter. Remember, this is his father was a great pentathlete. Simple blade work that set that up. The Italian advanced forward. Demeter took the blade and repost, scored the hit. That's classic Hungarian school. Good coaching, but that's generations of success. So that's a 2-0 victory.
For team relay of Hungary.
Italy's in trouble. They've gone 0-2 twice, back to back. And if I'm the Italian coaches, I'm trying to think of ways to wake these guys up. I mean, you know, maybe they didn't get their espresso this morning. I'm not sure what it was, but they need to wake up. They need to be smarter about how they're fencing. And you know, this actually happens. You know that over the course of a long day that it's very hard to keep the energy levels constant. So you look for ways to do that. And it's different for everybody. Sometimes it's coffee. Sometimes it's a ice cold towel, you know, in your face. Sometimes it's doing some sprints. Sometimes it's having somebody slap you to wake you up. You try whatever works, whatever you need, and that's what Italy needs right now because they're down. They've just gone 0-4 in the last 2 matches. So,
but the thing is that you must to know yourself what you exactly need to wake you up.
And the only way you learn is by competing and trying new things. So a lot of these guys are young. Remember, this is the men's relay, and you take a look at the teams. Some of these teams are stacked. They're using their absolute best athletes. I mean, the Czech Republic, for example, David Svoboda, he's the Olympic champion from London. There's no question what he's here for. You know, and Egypt, the El Jaziri brothers, they're the best two that Egypt has. If they have, in some cases, they're going for the medals. In some cases, they're trying to work the bugs out, and, you know, in using this event before the men's individual. So there's different reasons for using different athletes. In some cases, it's trying to give younger guys more experience, and we've seen some young, they're elite level, but they're kind of new to the top level, to the international senior level. We'll get some veterans here shortly. So we've got Hungary and Guatemala be our next two teams on Strip A. Now, it's classic, you know, when you'll take a look at the Guatemalan team, and again, we talked about this yesterday. Guatemala has come a long way in their program. Andre Gheorghe for Guatemala, his father is Marian Gheorghe. Now, Marian Gheorghe was the Guatemalan coach. He's Romanian, and he built the Guatemalan program. But he now actually is the men's coach for Great Britain. So it's going to be fun to watch Andre Gheorghe, you know, compete against Great Britain, which is his father's team. So I'm looking forward to that match.
Volga Andre Gheorghe, he was moved to Guatemala when he was 13. Now he's studying engineering. He was second in Pan Am Senior Championships in this year in team relay.
And you've got Gheorghe up here for Guatemala on the right side. Now he's a great fencer, and you know, you look at him, and if you remember 20 years ago what the Guatemalan program was, and you take a look at this young man, you're like, well, that's two different programs, and it absolutely is. So you have Harangzo from Hungary on the left, Gheorghe from Guatemala on the right. You're going to see a very active Guatemalan. Gheorghe is he's talented. He knows what he's doing, and he's very smart. Like you said, he's studying engineering. He's no dummy. So
probably he was growing up in a fencing
hall. He did. He did grow up in a fencing hall. Now, look at the, I love that Hungarian mask. Hungarian colors.
It looks really nice.
It's cool. Look at the blade work. They're both very similar styles. It's hard to comment here other than imagine this being a chess game. You know, they both have very similar styles, they both have very similar experience, and they're both very good. So neither one of them is controlling the match particularly. They're coming down to 15 seconds. This first touch for the team is very important, but yet they're inside 10 seconds. Gheorghe's pressing, so clearly he thinks he's a better fencer. There's 5, and it's a repost, and Gheorghe gets the touch. So that was a classic opportunity. Gheorghe pressured. He really wasn't going to attack. He pressured him, but he's a good enough fencer that the Hungarian knew that he could attack. So he pressured, and when he got close enough and down inside 5 seconds, the Hungarian felt he had to go, and that was exactly what Gheorghe wanted. And when he came, there was a simple parry repost. So it was like a cat and a mouse, and the cat was Gheorghe, and the mouse was the Hungarian. So now you got Demeter from Hungary.
Charles Fernandez from Guatemala.
And Charles, he goes by Charlie. Charlie Fernandez is a really interesting young man. His father's a missionary, and Charlie goes along with his father to many of the missions. And we're talking to some of the most underprivileged parts of the world. And so I can't say enough good things about that family. I've known them for a long time, and they're just really superb people. You know, they're just class acts. So Charlie Fernandez from Guatemala on the right, Demeter from Hungary. Again, Demeter coached by his father. Demeter's a better athlete, a better fencer. There's no question. I mean, just look at his style here. He controls the bout as much as he wants to. Charlie's young. Charlie Fernandez is young.
Yeah, he's just 19 years old.
Yeah.
So he's still junior.
And he doesn't have the experience that Demeter has. Demeter should be able to just waltz in. And Demeter needs this, and he got it. Demeter needed that victory, needed to tie it up, 1-1. He did it. So that's an interesting example of what we talked about earlier, where Demeter knew they're down 1-0, and Gheorghe is the better of the two fencers for Guatemala. He gets that first victory. That's what he needed to do. Now Demeter comes up as the second fencer for Hungary. He's against the second fencer for Guatemala. He's a stronger fencer. He knew that he had to win that match to tie it up, to make it a 1-1.
So 1-1 is good result for Guatemala, but not really good for Hungarian team, my opinion.
It's actually good for both. It's really good for Guatemala because Hungary's a better team, no question. On the other hand, Hungary saved themselves. They saved themselves by getting that one victory. To make it 1-1, it wasn't good, but it wasn't a disaster. if you want a disaster, look at what Italy did. 0-4. That's a disaster. And they need to do something to fix that. So let's see. That's our next match. We've got Guatemala and Germany on Strip A.
But before that, we can see some results on our
sure.
screens.
Now the numbers you really want to look at are the green and the red. The green is victories, and the red is defeats. So you're looking for, you want to have at least 50-50. You never want to fall below half, right? So the teams, Germany 4-8, USA 3-9, they need to fix something. They need to fix, there's something broken, they're off to a slow start, they got to fix it.
As a Polish, I had a look for the Polish team results. 5 victories and 7 times defeated.
So they're a little below, you know, as long as you can maintain the 50-50 mark, then the last couple of teams, you need a 2-0, and now you're over 50-50, and you're still in the hunt. Below 50-50 is not acceptable. So Guatemala on the left, Germany on the right. Gheorghe from Guatemala, the better of the two fencers. Again, I like to watch him fence. And, I mean, you can't have anything more classical German school than the German fencer. His body position is all about his hand. Germans, it's all about, they take the blade, they have a lot of blade work, they always have good hands. That's this classic German school. Pistol grips, attack, nothing done. Oh, actually, nothing done. He was checking his blade.
So it's still 0-0 and
23
seconds
yeah.
left.
So we're starting to get into the danger zone here, inside 20. You know, I have to give this to Gheorghe. I think he's a better fencer. Now it's down to 10 seconds. He has more, you know, bullets in his gun belt, so to speak. Now 5. Let's see what he does. The pressure 2, and it's going to be a double defeat, and it is. Now that's interesting.
So we can watch a situation like that first time during this competition.
Yeah, 0-0, time expires. That's both fencers pick up a defeat. I don't think that's what either fencer wanted, and I think that's a mental error on both sides and a coaching error, frankly, because your coaches are down there. You see the coaches behind the Peugeot sign. Those coaches are there. They can yell, and they often do. So. That's Walid from Guatemala, the coach of the Guatemalan team, and he's probably thinking that was a good strategy. But Gheorghe is his best fencer. The best fencer can't take a double defeat. The best fencer needs to lead the charge, and he needs to get that victory. Charlie Fernandez, the next fencer for Guatemala, he can take a double defeat. He can. Okay, he's the weaker of the two fencers. A double defeat against a strong team is as good as a victory for him. So. Now Walid is giving some last-minute advice to...
A little talk, between coach and his athlete.
Yep, Walid was the former coach of the Egyptian team, now coaching Guatemala. And Germany on the right. I'm not sure who that is from Germany.
It's Christian Zillikens.
Okay.
19 years old athlete from Germany. He was second in relay and 4th in individual competition in European Junior Championships in Minsk on the Belarus. It was in this year. He was also first with his relay in Junior World Championships in Chonków. So he has got some successes in this year.
He's talented and he's hungry. He's young. So he's 2 years out of the Olympics before Rio. He wants to make a name for himself. Score 0-0. So whoever wins this match, they win. They bring home the victory for the team. So this is critical for both fencers. German is a better fencer, has a lot more experience than Charlie. I just like Charlie. Look, and the German got the touch, you know.
And he needed just 15 seconds for it.
That's right. He outclassed Charlie from Guatemala. Again, you know, anybody who spends his time doing the missionary work that Charlie and his family does, I just like them. Good guys. So let's see, what do we have?
The next one will be round 9, Great Britain and Germany. In team relay of Great Britain, Thomas Tullis and James Cook.
And that's a strong run swim team. The Brits are, they are the strongest run swimmers in the sport. You're going to see some big, strong guys up on the strip here. It doesn't translate so well for their fencing. That's actually been their Achilles heel over the years, but they're getting better, and they have lots of experience. These are not particularly young guys, but they are. And Great Britain has just a tremendous pentathlon program. I mean, the biathlon, which is the run-swim part of pentathlon that we use to bring people into the sport, part of a recruiting platform. In Great Britain in 2012, there were 800,000 kids, school kids, that participated in the biathlon, for our sport. I mean, that's nearly 1 million. That's got to be the largest participation in the world. So here we go, Great Britain on the right, Germany on the left.
Thomas Tullis and Stefan Kullner.
It's really interesting how you can identify what country somebody's from, and unless they lived in another country, because some guys there was a classic fencer from Colombia who actually lived in Paris, and lived there for many, many years. So while he was Colombian, everything he did was of the French school. So when you take a look at, Kullner he outclasses Tullis right away. You just look at their body styles, the way they're holding the blades. That doesn't mean that he's going to win this thing, but he is the better fencer. Look how calm he is, and look how erratic. Oh, look, Tullis got it. That, by the way, was I'm going to say it was a cheap shot, but not a cheap shot in the sense that it was not earned. It was an easy shot. So a guy, you put your point out, and somebody else puts their hand into your point. That's pretty much what happened there. So that was a mistake on Kullner's part, on Stefan Kullner's part. I don't think he gave enough credit to Tullis. He wasn't cautious enough. He let himself. He gave that touch away. So let's see if the next match, if Zilkens, if Zilkens from Germany can win this back, it's important for Germany to end up at a 1-1.
James Cook is definitely a good swimmer.
Oh, he's one of the best. And he's a big, strong athlete. He's talented. He has a lot of experience. He's been in the sport quite a while now, and it's just as important for James Cook and Great Britain to win this, to get a 2-0 win. This is a golden opportunity, because those types of touches that we just saw don't happen that often. So to have this, he needs to and look at the German press. Zilkens pressing. He has to win. Germany needs this victory. And that's a German. That's a German. Germany pressed. Simple advanced lunge to the chest. Germany needed it, and Germany got it. So it ends up being an okay team match for both teams. And both teams missed a golden opportunity. It ended up being 1-1 when it could have been a golden opportunity for either team. Could have been 2-0 either way. So, such is life, right?
Round number 9 is behind us. We are gonna wait for another one, and it will be Great Britain against France. Team relay of France is Valentin Belot and Valentin Pradeb, two really talented guys.
Absolutely, and Prad in Doha last year at the Champion of Champions, he won the fencing. He was, he's a tremendous. He's not a particularly big kid. He's a big athlete, tall. He's relatively short, but he's very, very fast. So the British, the Great Britain definitely has the height advantage, which is obviously critical in épée fencing. But the nod goes to France in terms of the speed. Here's the results again. We got a number of teams at the halfway mark. See that 7-7? That's where you need to be.
So it's 50-50.
50-50. 7-7 is 50-50. That's right. You saw the Egyptians there at 7-5.
And the team of France has got 8-4. So it's really good results so far.
France is at 8-4. They're having a good day. And I noticed that Great Britain looked to be 2 touches under. So
Who can be favorite of this round?
I give it to France without even watching him start to fence. The fact that France is at 8-4, that just means they're fencing well. They've got some momentum. So let's see how they respond on the strip. Referee from Czech Republic. They've got a really first-class group of referees. I was looking at Grunkolas. He's the Olympic bronze medalist from Beijing. He's refereeing out there today from Lithuania. They're required to have international referees. So the referees, they can't be, for example, all Poles, all Polish referees. They're required to be one referee from every country. And then they rotate. So they have a first-class group of referees. You see Amro El Jaziri from Egypt in the background. We're going to see him fence, I think, here soon.
In the next 2 rounds?
Yeah, Egypt has a very strong fencing team, the El Jaziri brothers, both currently training in the United States, believe it or not.
And we are waiting for the battle between Valentin Belaud and Thomas Tulis. Belaud is 22 years old.
And the reason they have these delays, there's just a slight delay, but the reason is, remember, this is the round-robin fencing, so they have 8 strips, 8 different pieces are being used. They wait till every piste is done, and they start the new round. So they don't start a round, even though strip A is clearly ready to go, they don't start until everybody's done, and then they start the new round all together. So that's the delay. So it'll just be another minute or so, and they'll start up. Looking at results again. Hungary at 8-8.
In 7th place so far.
Yeah, Russia, they're under 50%, 7-9. That's unusual. And Guatemala tied with Russia. The Brits at 7-7. France on the right, Great Britain on the left. 1 minute, 1 touch, first match. First match in round 10 of 17 rounds. So France is pressing, left-hander. Belaud, very classical French, and beautiful touch.
He wins. So it's 1-0 for team relay of France.
Yep. And notice how there is no emotion there. You didn't see a fist pump. You didn't see even a smile. That is so French.
Maybe he's a little bit nervous. He just do what he has to do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying, hey, whatever works, right? But now you've got Cook and Prod. Both of these athletes are great swimmers. They just both are. You can just tell looking at their physiques, their body types.
Valentin Prode, he is vice European champion in relay from this year.
Prod on the right from France, classical French fencer. Look how he's holding his blade. Look where his thumb is, behind the guard. Every French fencer who at the top level has always had the same blade position, same hand position. So France is up 1-0. France is pressing Cook. Prod knows he's a better fencer than James Cook, and and Cook got it. Cook got it. You know what?
Just waiting.
And you know what? He let Prod come a little too close, and that was an example of Cook wanting it more than Prod. I think Prod thought he had it in the bag. He knew he was a better fencer. He got a little too close, and Cook took advantage of that. But Cook needed to do that. He needed that 1-1. So that was great to see James Cook come out like that. So you got a 1-1 tie between Great Britain and France.
And team relay of France has got 9 victories so far.
And if I'm the French coach, I'm going to go back to my athletes and say, guys, wake up. You know, you're ahead. You're fencing a team that's clearly a weaker team than you. Don't take any touch for granted. That last touch, Prod took it for granted. He's like, oh, I'm a better fencer. I'll just mosey on in and get my touch. And James Cook wanted it more, and that's what happened. So France versus Egypt, the El Jaziri brothers.
Yeah, it's going to be another very interesting round because of two Egyptians.
Who are, you know, Omar El Jaziri is the elder brother of the two. Amro is the younger brother. They are a very well-educated, fluent English, Arabic. Omar is an engineer. They've both graduated. Amro is a medical doctor, so he's an MD. And they're both put their careers on hold to train pentathlon, hoping to do well at the Rio 2016 Games.
Team relay of Korea is leading so far. They are on the first position. The second one is team relay of France. Then team relay of Belarus, and on the fourth position, team relay of Kazakhstan, Andrei Soldatov, Vladislav Shukarev.
Well, you saw that France is currently in second, and they're not going to stay in second unless they wake up. If they continue to approach that last bout like Prod did, you know, in terms of I'm just going to stroll down and get this touch, and that's what the coach should be telling him right now is, guys, if you want this, it's the World Championships. You know, wake up and take every touch very seriously. So that's Omar El Jaziri on the screen, left-hander.
Team relay of Egypt has got 8 victories so far.
They're good fencers. The El Jaziri brothers they're both very good swimmers. They're actually very good in all 5 sports, or I should say 4 of the 5 sports. Their weakness is actually the running. You know, they're not the best runners in the world. They've worked very hard. You see their Sami Awad, the coach, there in the white, Hefney in the green. They've worked very hard to, you know, bring their run up to par, but they're still, you know, below the mid-level. They're below the top half of the runners. You know, so that's their Achilles heel. Their Achilles heel is not in fencing. They are quite good. So we'll see what Omar El Jaziri can do on the right, the elder of the two brothers.
And just a few seconds before, we could see what's the difference between Egyptians and team relay of France. Egyptians look like just, you know, chill out.
The El Jaziri brothers are a very happy couple of guys. They're wonderful people. They take life as it comes, and you know, like I said, they're just, we know them because they train in the U.S. quite a bit. We see them quite a bit, and we enjoy spending time with them. Good guys.
So Valentin Belaut on the left, on the right side Amro El Jaziri. Is it Amro? Am I right?
You're looking at Omar.
Omar
El Jaziri. He's the left-hander. Amro's right-handed. So, and look, they're both very good fencers. El Jaziri, Egypt on the right. Left-handed. He's a lot of blade work, moving around, and you know, Belaut from France is pressing. He looks like he's in control of the bout, but he's not. El Jaziri is.
He's left-handed too?
Yep, 2 lefties. It doesn't really matter at this level. Neither fencer is thinking, oh, this is a lefty. Can't see the clock, so I don't know where the time situation is, but it's going to be important. There we go, 23 seconds. El Jaziri is trying to position Belaut so that he does what he wants him to do. And did he see if he gets it? That was a great opportunity for El Jaziri. He drew the attack. He took an 8, which is a low. He parried the blade down. He didn't get the repost. He didn't get the touch in. But Belaut did what he wanted him to do. Now, 5 seconds. Oh, and El Jaziri pulls it off.
It was the emotional end of this bout.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you know, it looked like Belaut was controlling the match because he was pressing, but El Jaziri was in control the whole time.
And team relay of Egypt is climbing up because it was 9th victory for them.
Oh yeah. No, listen, you're going to see Egypt in great position, and we'll see what kind of shape they're in combined. You know, I mean, they've been working very hard on their run, but that's the weakness. So we'll see. I would expect Egypt to be in the top 3 teams going into the combined. So now Prod from France, he must win this match. against Omar. I'm sorry, this is Amro. So Amro, the younger brother, he's the medical doctor, which it always is amazing to me that a pentathlete can actually be an active training pentathlete and get through medical school at the same time. You know, it's remarkable. We have several athletes in this field today who are medical doctors. So Amro El Jaziri on the right from Egypt, Prad from France on the left. Prad must win this. Now, Amro is the weaker of the two fencers, of the two El Jaziri brothers, so this is, Prad needs to have, and Prad pulls it off.
He did it.
He did it. He did what he needed to do. So tied it up there, 1-1.
So now Team Relay of Egypt has got 9 victories and they have been 7 times defeated.
Now don't forget that what you just saw there were 2 of the best fencing teams in the field. You know, so those were good matches. They were well thought out. They were strategic. Fencers, you know, the situations were, they had to adjust to the situations, and it played out really in a textbook way. You know, Omar El Jaziri set up Balad to do, and he made Balad do what he wanted him to do. Now it got inside 5 seconds, which probably wasn't part of the plan because he missed that first action, but he still pulled it off. So he had the one victory. Then the tables turn. You know, Prad from France, he had to win, had to do it. And Amro El Jaziri, the younger of the 2 brothers and the weaker of the 2 fencers, that's where it had to happen. So that was the opportunity, and Prad pulled it off. You know, he did what he had to do, and that's exactly very strategic and well coached and well thought out by the fencers.
9-7 for Egypt, the same as for Team Relay of Czech Republic. It's 50-50 for Team Relay of Hungary.
There's 6 rounds remaining in today's men's fencing event of the men's relay, and with only 6 rounds remaining, you're more than halfway done. The scores now really matter. You're looking at those scores. The coaches, the athletes are probably not paying as much attention to this. I've noticed the USA has moved up to 7 and 9, so they're actually come back. So for me, that's good to see since I'm part of that program. But here we go. We've got, on strip A, we have Egypt versus the Czech Republic. So Omar El Jaziri, left-hander, on the left. Not sure who his opponent is.
Probably David Svoboda.
No, that's not Svoboda. So it'd be
Yankov.
Yeah, it'd be Yankov. Yeah, I know Svoboda has a very distinctive style. I should have known that right away. And being that Svoboda is the Olympic champion from London, everybody knows what his style is. He's very noticeable. So you're inside 30 seconds. Again, oh, so nothing done. That was just an accidental touch on the floor. Remember, those strips are grounded. They're metal, so if the end of the blade touches the metal, it does not set off the light. They're grounded. So we're inside 20 seconds. Omar El Jaziri needs his victory. He's the better of the 2 fencers, so he needs to set it up. He's pressing because he sees Kuf retreating, so he knows he needs to press. And you know, now 5 seconds, and you're going to see Omar go. Omar's going to have to go. Did he get it? Oh, he didn't get it. Time has expired. Double defeat. That is not what Omar El Jaziri wanted. And he thought he had the touch, and he probably did. The problem was this time had already expired. And once the time goes to 0, the machine cuts off. So the machine will not register a hit. That's why when he went down for the foot and he reached up and he pumped his fist like, I got it, he probably did, but it didn't work because it was after the time. So now the pressure's on Amro, younger of the 2 brothers and the weaker of the 2 fencers. He's going to have to try to pull this off against the Olympic champion from London, David Svoboda.
So it's not going to be easy to get a point this time.
Well, David's a left-handed fencer. Again, I can't say enough good things about David. It's nice when the Olympic champion of your sport is a class act. He's a talented athlete, extraordinary talented athlete. He is a nice guy. He's a good-looking guy. He's a good representative of the sport. He took a little time off. He's had some injuries since London, so that may work in Amro El Jaziri's. Oh, look, and David attacked from the get-go. Did you notice? he's not staying. I'll bet you, if you watch all of David's matches, I'll bet they're all like that. And that's probably because of his injuries. You know, he's not going to stay out there and fence for the full minute. I'm going to get this over one way or the other, you know, quickly.
Yeah.
He has a ton of experience. So the Czech Republic walks away with a 1-0 win because of the double defeat in the first match.
And it took just 6 seconds for David Svoboda to win this battle.
And that's what you have to be ready for in pentathlon fencing. Remember, it's only a one-touch match, so you have to be ready for somebody to attack right from the get-go, which is what David did. And I think everybody likes, they know that when you're fencing the Olympic champion, that people are watching that match and that it means more because he's the Olympic champion. I think you're hoping that the match actually lasts a long time because it gives you, the spotlight's on you. You want it to last a while because you want to show that you're a better fencer than this guy because he's the guy with the gold medal. And then when he goes after you 6 seconds, it's kind of anticlimactic. But it's what David is doing in this competition and probably needs to do given his current physical condition.
So we are gonna see on the piste A team relay of China soon. Jianli Guo and Jia Hao Han. Yesterday, women's team relay of China get won.
Well,
first day of competition.
And the Chinese, like we said yesterday, their program is just so awesome. I mean, they have the depth, they have the resources, they have the coaches, they have the experience. I mean, they loaded their women's relay. They stacked it with two of the best girls in the world. I mean, it was theirs. They took off from the first event. So let's see what China is up to. See about their men's program. And I'm looking at the men, and they've stacked the men's team too. Jianli Guo, Ji Hao Han, both very, very talented athletes. Guo in particular. Right now on the right-hand side, fencing for China. He is the more talented of the two Chinese athletes. Let's see what, his opponent is Kuf from the Czech Republic. Kuf, you notice that blade he's carrying. He's using a French grip. He's out on the back side of a French grip. He has a little unusual body positioning, which is it's a bit of a challenge for classical fencers. So you have to adjust to that, and we'll see how well Guo from China adjusts.
Team relay of China was second in the last year Senior World Championships in Chinese Taipei.
See how he throws his blade? We call that a flick. It's almost like fly fishing, you know, you're throwing your point. You really do that as a preparation to try to create some activity from your opponent. And once out of 50 shots, you'll score the hit on that. You know, but that means the person is awfully close. But it also tells you that Kuf knows where his point is. Inside 30 seconds. Guo from China. Guo's a smart guy. He's evaluating Kuf. He's much more classical than Kuf is. Inside 15. Guo wants this victory, and he got it. He got it.
Green light is on.
Yep.
It's 1-0 for team relay of China.
And Guo needed to do that, you know, because he knew David Svoboda's coming up, you know, in the second, the second athlete for Czech Republic. And so now, if the Olympic gold medalist David Svoboda, you know, does what he did last time, that touch was critical. So as you see the clock ticking down inside 10 seconds, you know, what that told me was Guo really needed this touch, and he's not going to sit back and let the time expire. So, you know, Guo really pushed that. So now you have Svoboda again from the Czech Republic on the left, and David again, Olympic champion from London. I think that says it all.
And on the right, Jia Hao Han. He's on a 16th place in Senior World Cup ranking. 6th junior in the world. And again,
the ranking list is, while in some cases it's a good indicator, in others it's not the most telltale evaluation tool. And the reason is that the ranking list is prepared simply based on the number of competitions you go to. So if you don't go to odd competitions or you target one or two, you probably won't be very high on the ranking list. So it's a little deceiving. So again, so you have the Czech Republic on the left, China on the right, Svoboda. Let's see if he makes this makes a short work of this match. He doesn't feel comfortable because he hasn't made that initial attack.
So it's a big pressure on him.
Yep, and double touch. Again, David not wasting any time. That was only 22 seconds. So
anyway, it was much more longer than before.
yeah, that's true. And he attacks. And he gets the touch.
Did it again.
So he does it again. I would expect all of David's matches today to be like that. And again, I think he's doing it because he needs to. I think his conditioning and his injuries are such that he doesn't want to stay out there and fence too long. And I think that's the plan for the day. So 1-1, I consider that it's a draw. And I think that was like two battleships coming together, you know, where they felt each other out. And I think both of these teams are going to take that information that they just learned about their opponents and use it in the men's individual competition later this week.
So it was round 13. The next one will be round 14. China against Belarus on Epistei. Roman Pinchuk, Stanislav Zuraliu.
And you know, from Belarus, Zuraliu from Belarus is really, he's the most talented of the two fencers from Belarus. And when I say most talented, he's extraordinarily talented. So he's a big athlete. He does it all. He has all the actions. He has all the tools. He has the physicality. He's a talented athlete. Again, though, Guo from China, you're looking at two great athletes here. I mean, Guo is the better of the two fencers for China. He showed us what he could do earlier today. Very talented. He's smart. So let's see how this works out.
Go on the left. Zuraliu will be on the right.
Is that his opponent? For sure. I'm not sure. Guo from China, he's classical. It's the other Pinchuk. Yeah, it's Pinchuk.
It's Roman Pinchuk.
Yeah, Pinchuk's his opponent, so we're not going to see Zuraliu till the second, which is a real interesting positioning because Zuraliu is the stronger of the two fencers, and they've put him as the number 2 fencer, which I find very interesting. So Guo, all right, from China on the left. He certainly has, and look at that attack right from the start, inside 10 seconds. Now this is one touch, and Pinchuk got it. He got it because he's on a French grip and he's taller, and that was an awkward bout for Guo to fence. You know, his hand position was never steady. It was a difficult bout for Guo, and I think had that bout gone on and you'd had more time, I think Guo would have emerged the ultimate victor. But the touch was scored very early on, and then Guo just didn't make the adjustments that he needed to make. So now you've got Han and Zuraliu. So Zuraliu is, Han needs to win this. He must win it, but on paper, to me, Zuraliu is the better fencer.
Both of these athletes are really tall. I don't know how tall is Jiahao Han, but Zuraliu is 190 centimeters tall.
He's a big boy, and he does it all. He has all the tools. He's on the back end of a French grip. See, remember that French grip? So that single handle, and he's holding it back. He's holding it at the end. And look at his body position. He's controlling the match. Zuraliu is controlling the match. He has high line and low line. Keeps going back to the foot. I would expect to see Han attack over the top on one of those foot exchanges. But Zuraliu from Belarus can, like I said, he can do it all. So the fact that he goes down low line, which means to the foot, you know, you have to be ready. He can come up from that. He'll go from the foot and come right up to your chest. There's a lot of continuation. He definitely is controlling the match.
15 seconds left.
If he lets time expire, which Han would be crazy to do, then Belarus wins simply because they're already 1-0. 5 seconds to go. Can't believe Han is letting this happen. He needs to go, and Zuraliu gets it.
So it's 2-0 for Belarus. Well done.
Yeah. Oh, what is he saying? The referee is not allowing that touch.
Oh,
And you know, I think it's because Han turned his back, and there's
just
no
a second.
time.
Yeah,
No time. Oh, that is so disappointing. That was...
it's a shame.
Yeah,
it
that
could
is.
be 2-0 for Belarus.
It really could be. And you can see that Zerlu wasn't happy about that, but the fact that they had a 1-0 win, okay, he'll take it.
He was really close, but
He was.
1-0 it's not bad anyway. Now we're gonna be waiting for another round. It's gonna be Belarus against
The USA,
Yeah.
Team USA. Yeah, we're gonna. I can't wait to see this.
So tell us something more about your
Well,
athletes.
They're both Army athletes. They're both members of the United States Army. It's called the World Class Athlete Program, and that is the program that supports military athletes in Olympic sports in the United States. So it's a wonderful program. So they will say they're soldiers first, athletes second. So you have Dennis Bowser from the United States. He's a sergeant, and then you have Nathan Scrimsher, and he's a private. He's new to the military. He's just out of the junior ranks. Dennis is an Olympian, competed in London. He's sort of the old pro. Unfortunately, Dennis is a little under the weather today. He got sick at training camp just at the end of the camp a few days ago. So he's battling upper respiratory flu type symptoms. So he's a little weak today, but we'll see if he's smart. He definitely has the experience. He's over 30 years old. Nathan Scrimsher he's sort of our rising star. He's our great white hope, if you will, for the U.S. team, the U.S. program, the men's side. In last year's World Championships, his first senior World Championships, he came out of the men's individual semifinal. He won the fence. So he fenced 1,000 points, which is the old, 250 points under today's scoring system, and really showed what he can do. So we'll see what kind of a day he's having.
If Dennis is a sergeant, does it mean that he's in charge in this relay?
It absolutely means he's in charge. You don't see the guys pull rank very much, but occasionally you do. Yeah, that's right. Now, the commander of that unit is Scott Christie, who's just been promoted to major. So, and Scott Christie is due to arrive in Warsaw today. So, and then you'll see who's really in charge. So, what do you have here? Pinchuk?
Roman Pinchuk, yes. Who will be in the front of him?
Nathan Scrimsher. So Nathan is our better of the two fencers. He's certainly had better results than Dennis has fencing. Nathan's Achilles' heel is his running. He's working on his run. So and he's a great swimmer. So came out of New Mexico Military Institute, Roswell, New Mexico. Now watch, Nathan is not afraid of anything. Look, he's moved to the center line. And I would expect to see Nathan make an attack here, be my guess. The way he's pressing. He keeps his point in line. He's got to be wary, though. Pinchuk is on the end of that blade. He's unorthodox, and Nathan looks like Nathan pulled it off. Nathan made that straight attack, kept his point in line, got it.
And it's 1-0 for your team.
Good, yeah, 1-0 for Team USA. Can't beat that. So Dennis Bowser now, his teammate, he'll be up against Zerlu. Zerlu is a better fencer, there's no question in my mind, but that doesn't mean that you can't...
that he's going to win this time.
That doesn't mean that at all. So, but Dennis needs to be wary of Zerlu and what he can do, and the advice that I gave Dennis, because I know he's not feeling well, and earlier this morning when I spoke to him, I asked him I said, listen, just let them come to you because they're not going to double defeat you.
We could see Pinchuk just a few seconds ago, and he was really disappointed about.
I'll bet he was.
About the result.
I'll bet he was. Now, Dennis, a double defeat is just as good as a win for him on this one, but I don't think Zerlu will ever let that happen. So what Dennis needs to do is sit back and let Zerlu come, and then stop hit. But I don't. Let's see if Dennis will actually do that. If he can control himself and have the patience to wait this out all the way to the end of the time. Because Zerlu is a better fencer, and Dennis, he decided he was going to go. He must have felt the opportunity. Clearly he wasn't listening to me. So Sergeant Dennis Bowser on the right, Zerlu from Belarus on the left. So USA, Belarus. USA's up 1-0. Inside the 30-second mark. Dennis needs to calm it down. Inside 20 seconds. Now 10 seconds. Dennis is going to press. He's pressing, and Dennis is going to go. You can just see it. He's telegraphing it. 3 seconds to, hey, look at this. He's going to let the double defeat. He's going to take the double defeat. That was smart fencing on the part of Dennis Bowser. Smart fencing. He knew they were winning 1-0. He'll take the 1-0 victory and a double defeat against Belarus. And Belarus is a strong team. That's as good as a victory for Team USA. Dennis is not having his best day. I'm very surprised that Zeralou let that happen. And I think the only reason he let it happen was that Dennis Bowser pushed so hard that it was clear, it was certainly what I thought, he was going to attack. And Zeralou probably thought the same thing and let the time go.
Was it the best what Dennis could do for
I
USA
think,
team?
Well, I mean, it would have been better, of course, for a single light for Team USA, but it was the second best thing that he could have done. And you know what? Given his current physical condition, given the fact he's trying to, he's sick, he's coming off being sick, I think it was very, very smart fencing, and I think it was, brilliant coaching.
Next one will be team relay of Ukraine on a piste A. They will be fighting against USA team. Who's the favorite of this round?
Ukraine is, they're such perennial favorites. They're well coached. They're lots of, Pavlo Kurpolansky from Ukraine. He's a class act. He's a fantastic fencer. But given the current political issues in Ukraine, it really has affected their sports programs, and it's understandable. So the funding has been really reduced. They just don't have the resources to travel right now. These athletes they have no government support. They have no Olympic Committee support. The athletes are actually funding themselves out of their own savings, their own pockets. The sport community, and certainly the United States, has tried to help. We've helped them where we could, financially and otherwise, and so ordinarily I would say Ukraine is certainly the favorite in this match, but given their current struggles, their current challenges with the political situation at home, I think that might tip the balance a little bit towards the USA. So you got Nathan Scrimshire, U.S. Army private Nathan Scrimshire on the left from the United States, and he is up against Morozov, Alexander Morozov from Ukraine.
The best success for Morozov so far was second place in Budapest Open Cup in last year.
Nathan's being very cautious, but again, I expect to see Nathan move on this. I've watched the way Nathan's reacting. He's keeping the pressure on, then he steps back, he's changing the distance, and he got it. That was a nice parry 4. He did it, Morozov made the attack. Nathan threw out his point, it wasn't there. Then he pulled back and he parried. That was a parry 4, that's an inside line, and then he reposted and hit it. Very good fencing on the part of Nathan Scrimshire. Here's the two coaches there, that's Janusz Paychek to the left, the Olympic champion, Polish Olympic champion. Yeah. And the high performance director was Gennadiy Sokolovas there to the right. So those guys I'm sure are very happy. That wasn't luck, that was just great fencing on the part of Nathan Scrimshire.
So it's 1-0 so far for team relay of USA.
Yeah, exactly. Now Kurpolansky's a great fencer. He's a class act. He's a great human being. He's very, very well educated. He's very intelligent athlete. So Ukraine must win this match. They must win. They're down 1-0. So that's what he's thinking, and he's got a lot more experience than Bowser does at this level. So let's see what happens here. And you're going to see Kurpolansky control the bout, and he is. He's moving forward. You can look at his body position, his blade position. Dennis may try to surprise him because Dennis is awfully quiet, a little quieter than I normally see Dennis. So he may try to surprise him on an attack, but we'll see. The strategy for Dennis may be to do exactly what he did in the previous bout, which is just wait, but give enough pressure, give the impression that you're going to attack without actually doing it. And look, Kurpolansky's, he's stepping back. They're now inside 15 seconds. Ukraine cannot let a double defeat happen. They can't. They're inside 10 seconds, so he's going to have to come. 6, 5. This is extraordinary to me. And look, Dennis Bowser. And that's in motion. You see that fist? That is so rare for Dennis to pump his fist like that. That means he's having a good day, he's having fun, and he's having some success. So I'm glad to see the Dennis, especially given the way this morning, frankly, he was pale. He looked sickly. He didn't look well. So to have him do this, and there's Janusz Peczek, Olympic champion from Poland, giving him some advice. I love to see that too. I love to see a great interaction between coach and athlete. That means that the salaries we pay the coach, that they're actually paying off. They actually work. That's great.
So in front of us, last round of fencing event. I mean round robin system, of course, because at 11 o'clock we are going to start ladder system, the same as yesterday. Today we are going to have some changes in ladder system, but we are going to tell you more about that at 11 o'clock when we are going to start ladder system.
And the ladder is exciting. I think for our viewers and people tuning in, they really need to understand what the ladder actually is. If you take a look out there, this is round robin, right? And round robin means exactly that. Every team fences every other team. There's 8 of those strips, of those silver piece out there. Yeah. It is very difficult. Even look at what we're doing. We're focusing on one strip. We're focusing on strip A. If you're a broadcaster, and remember, our audience isn't the hundreds or thousands of people in the stadium. Our real audience are the millions of people at home. So it's very hard to put a camera up and show round robin fencing and have anybody have any clue what's going on. So the sport is pentathlon is known worldwide as a sport that is evolving all the time to use current technology, to use, and frankly, the current taste. What does the public want? Television, the social media, all of this sort of thing. That's the way the world's going right now. So pentathlon is listening to our community. So the ladder is an answer to that. The ladder is they take all the teams, they rank you from 1, in this case, to 17, the 17 teams here, and they will go to the strip that's outdoors in the riding facility, and they'll fence a bonus round. And they're trying to get extra points. And what that does is it allows the cameras to focus on one strip and one match at a time, and it really focuses a white hot spotlight. So here we go, Ukraine versus Russia. So this is, given the current political situation, this is an interesting match.
That's it.
Russia on the right.
And Egor Pucharewski.
Russia on the right, Ukraine on the left. Ukraine looking for that elusive red light. Russia looking for the green. Both good fencers. And look at double touch for sure. Yep, it was. So both of them are obviously products of what I would call the German school, because German coaches taught the Russians, and both of these athletes were clearly taught by former Soviet coaches, so they have a very similar style. That's why you don't see a lot of differences in their body positions, their blade work. This is all about strategy. Inside 15 seconds. And the Russians pressing.
But Ukraine.
And Ukraine, Kurpelansky, Kurpelansky, frankly, just outsmarted him. Just a smarter fencer.
So it's 1-0 for Ukraine in this last round of fencing event. Now Alexander Mordasov in team relay of Ukraine and Maxim Kustov in team relay of Russia.
That was a big victory for Ukraine, that first touch. And again, this is the last match of the round robin of what we're watching this morning. So this is a very, very important match. That's last touch. As you saw, you see the team scores, right? 8-8, 9-7. One extra victory can swing the balance. So this is a critical match. That victory for Ukraine to be up 1-0. So the worst that can happen here is a 1-1. That's the worst case scenario. So the pressure is off Ukraine, and the pressure is very heavy on Russia right now. So Kustov is the man to handle it. He's a great fencer. He's a great athlete. He's left-handed. He is the man to handle this pressure. Now look at that.
Just 6 seconds and
exactly.
Is on.
And I got to tell you, Mordasov from Ukraine caught Maxim Kustov asleep. He simply caught him sleeping. Great move by Ukraine. They got a 2-0 victory. What a way to go out. What a way to finish the morning. 2-0 over Russia. Couldn't ask for more. It's been a great morning. It's been very exciting.
So it was the last round of round-robin system. We are gonna be back in half an hour, so we'll see you again at 11 o'clock.
Looking forward to it. And I would urge everybody to watch this because this is the ladder that we're going to show in a few minutes, a half an hour.
Yeah.
In about a half an hour. That is what we're talking about doing in Rio, the 2016 Olympics. So if you want to get a glimpse of what the Olympics are going to be like in Rio, stay tuned at 11 o'clock and watch the bonus round taking place here at Warsaw, Poland from the men's relay at the World Championships of Modern Pentathlon.